My name is Will Wheat.
Geek.
Holy Klingon.
Move aside, mortal.
Einstein.
I didn't say that.
Penicillin.
Brett from the Donnas. Rod Digger.
My name is John Tesh.
And I was a total geek.
Geek.
Live long and prosper.
Hey, remember the guy who preferred Dungeons and Dragons to cheerleaders?
Ah, you disarmed the trap. While those guys were out like rolling joints, I was rolling dice.
Or the girl with the headgear? Maybe that was you.
I smelled of bologna and Clearasil. I mean, I literally did not have a chance.
I knew I was a geek because, you know, nobody was asking me out. Nobody was trying to kiss me in the back hallway.
I first heard I was a geek when I was in English class and Beryl, who I really liked, yelled across the whole room, "Oh, you're such a geek!" I was officially a band geek. I literally thought after a while that my first name was Ugh, because every time anybody saw me, they would go, "Oh, Tesh."
The anatomy of a geek head to toe, sort of classically, is there definitely has to have glasses.
If you're a geek, you gotta wear glasses.
And glasses that would be taped up in the center if they broke.
I had these Coke bottle glasses.
I had a sausage roll that went all the way down that I had to take forever to do with the curling iron.
She's got the love.
I was 6'5" in junior high school, weighed 155 pounds. If I stood sideways in the classroom, I was invisible. I smelled of bologna and Clearasil. I mean, I literally did not have a chance.
The cafeteria was very stratified.
There were definitely the cliques.
The cool, druggy kids.
There was the freaks, there was the jocks.
The cheerleaders.
The snooty table.
And then there was us off in our corner.
Okay, you don't like me, this group doesn't like me, and you don't like me either. Great, I'm gonna go home and write in my diary.
On the off chance that a girl would be myopic or something and talk to you, you might end up at their table.
One time I sat with the cool girls, you know, the happening girls.
And that just threw off the whole balance of nature.
So then you would gravitate to the physics table, the nerd table. That's where you end up.
May I join you here in the Enterprise Mess Hall? I'm so hungry I could eat a tribble.
I thought I was a geek, but believe me, these guys made me seem like the coolest kid in the whole school.
I think no one else sat with us because they didn't want to hear what we were talking about.
These guys would speak very strange or really weird voice. Move aside, mortal.
It was definitely the cool thing to buy your lunch.
My mom made me a bologna sandwich with potato chips every day. I don't know if you've ever loaded up your mouth full of bologna when it has braces in there, but if you eat a bologna sandwich on a Monday, by Thursday you can still reach back with your tongue and pull out a snack. There's another one of my nicknames, you know, Bologna Boy. Hey, Bologna Boy, got a date tonight? My favorite class was music class. I had a music theory class, and I loved it.
My favorite class was computers.
You will be shocked to learn that my favorite class in high school was physics.
I loved Latin class.
I was deathly afraid of going to gym.
What I hated about gym was the sports.
I could do things then that I cannot even imagine doing now, like shimmy up a rope.
There's a rope that's attached to the ceiling, and there was always the guys that could, like in an L, would just...
You know who can climb the ropes? Marines. That's why they're Marines. Normal people can't climb the rope.
I had crushes. I mean, if the wind blew a certain way and I saw a girl, I just had a huge crush on her.
I had a secret crush, a girl, I'll call her Suzanne. That's her first name, Suzanne. She was going out with the quarterback, you know, and I couldn't get her to engage in a conversation with me. So I came up with this great idea. I came into school one day with a giant Band-Aid on the side of my head. Everybody in the class asked me, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" So I fell, and I was working in the house, and I fell and hit myself. It knocked me out, but I should be okay. And finally, at the end of the day, Suzanne asked me, she said, "Oh my gosh, John," I couldn't even believe she knew my name. What happened to your head?" And I said, "Oh, you don't care." Like that. I mean, I totally just blurted that out. And she was like, "Whoa, okay." And she left. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Now, fast forward to 24 hours later, I forgot to put the Band-Aid on the next day. So that makes it like a movie, doesn't it? I was totally busted.
Geeks have trouble hanging out.
I didn't go to any parties. I had to be home when the street light came on.
I probably could have gone to parties, but it would have seriously interfered with watching Holy Grail again.
Friday nights and Saturday nights, there was no partying. I mean, partying involves drinking and fun and things like that.
There were things called make-out parties. I was always the one who wasn't dating anybody, so I ended up just sort of sitting in the dark listening to people kiss. You know, it was really bizarre. It was like a really horrible, it was like a horror movie. It was just so sad to be sitting there just hearing like, and I'm going, you. Every time I tried to talk to a girl at her locker, I ended up speaking Swahili. I mean, it would be like, I'd get there and I had the whole thing planned. I'd be like,
I think geeks are more prone to illnesses because they're more scared and worried, and that eats away at your immune system.
You're always worrying that your glasses are going to fall off and break, or that you're not going to get the projector to the class on time.
I had braces for about 2 years.
I wore braces for 27 years, and it felt like that. It was like, it was 3 years. My braces were basically barbed wire, and you know, the dentist would put his knee on your chest with a big crank and crank him down, and so you'd be bleeding. Geeks usually don't take school buses. You either come up with a way to fly. If that doesn't work, then you get a bicycle.
The school bus was a war zone.
People would put gum on your seat.
The bullies would take your hat.
Within 2 seconds, it's gone.
Hit your head with their book.
They'd walk past and just grab my hat, and out the window would go.
I would just sit and wait for it to come back, but I was very affected, and we'd get very sad.
We fought for the front seats, whereas all the cool kids fought for the back seats. They were all smoking or doing whatever. I have no idea what they did back there, because I never went.
The torture of walking down the aisle to try and find a seat.
Can I sit there? No, man, no, it's all right.
If you were different at all, you literally got tripped when you walked down the aisle of the school bus.
I was walking towards the school bus, and a guy came up and put his arm around me. And that was bad news right away, because this is not the kind of guy, first of all, that would put his arm around another guy. And second of all, I don't want to be near this guy ever. And he said, "Hey, Paul, how are you doing?" I said, "Fine." And then he smashed an egg in my hair.
It just takes 1 or 2 times like that to say, you know, I think I'm just going to ride my bike, even in the rain or the snow.
The hallways were just like the Wild West.
In the hallway, it was just as easy to walk down the hall as it was to get slammed into your locker.
A lot of being pushed into lockers, a lot of being made fun of.
I think maybe if I were small, I would have been thrown in the locker or two, but you couldn't get me. I mean, really, to get me in the locker is going to require a bone saw, I would think.
You got a bunch of books coming up behind, like, clean out, bam, and they hit the back, and just everything flies all over the place.
I remember one time I went to get a drink at the water fountain, and then the two jocks just walked up and just started banging on me.
Ow, stop hitting me. I have a friend on the football team.
You have to be able, it's like lizard-like movements. You have to be able to, you know, to avoid your glance.
The SATs were terrifying because you were made to believe that how you did on this test determined your entire future.
I actually got dumped by this girl named Chrissy the day before my SATs.
Senior prom, me and my friend did not get asked. Shocking.
None of us have ever dated in our lives.
I didn't go to prom. I was scared to death of going to prom.
I did go to my prom. That was the one date that I got.
There was this girl, her name was Beryl, and we actually were boyfriend and girlfriend for a little while, and she even kissed me once. And then I got braces, and she dumped me.
Congratulations, it's graduation.
My senior year, to me, was really that my sentence was about to end.
I was voted the most popular kid in the 10th grade by me.
I was voted as the #1 guy no one would vote for anything.
I was voted most likely to be invisible.
If you're not popular, they're not going to vote for you.
I've been married for 13 years to a woman who's respected as one of the most gorgeous women, you know, in the world. When you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or whatever, you know, and you know, you see it's a beautiful woman, you know, within 3 feet of you, you're like, all I can think of is, you know, walking down that hallway at Garden City High School, and the cheerleader would never talk to you. So I've definitely been blessed.